If they have not recognized Allah, they are jahil. Look at the sweeping manner in which Quran calls out, قُلْ أَفَغَيْرَ اللَّهِ تَأْمُرُونِّي أَعْبُدُ أَيُّهَا الْجَاهِلُونَ. Tell them, what is it that you order me to worship others besides Allah, to ascribe partners with Allah, to not accept the oneness and wahdaniyat of Allah? Ayyuhal jahilun. Look at the manner, the force behind the speech. Look at the vehemence behind this declaration. Unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, our munasabat, our link, our attachment with Quran has become so insignificant that we fail to realize the purport behind this. We fail to appreciate the beauty of Quran. This was that kalam. Allah's Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam in the early days in Makkah Mukarramah, he would recite Quran in Tahajjud Salah. The disbelievers of Makkah, Abu Jahl, Utbah, Akhnas bin Shariq, these were avowed enemies of Islam. The whole day they would plan the hurting and the harming and the maiming of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his followers. Their hearts were filled with the zulmat and blackness of kufr and darkness. Yet at night they would secretly gather to listen to his recitation of Quran. One night they got into a conversation. The Na'uzubillah, in the day we are calling him Sahir. In the day we are calling him Kahin. We are calling him a magician. We are calling him a poet. We are telling the people not to listen to him. And at night we ourselves are listening to him. If the people come to know, we will lose our credibility. So they make a pact. They say, okay, every one of you take an oath that tomorrow we will not come to listen to his Quran. Everyone takes an oath. The next night dawns. Each one thinks in his heart that they took an oath, so they won't come. If I go, they won't come to know. Such is the pull, such is the jazibiyat, such is the magnetic pull of the Quran, that all three of them once again come to listen to the Quran of Rasulullah. This was that kalam that shook the hearts filled with zulmat and darkness. And yet today, what is the munasabat of the ummah with Quran? This month of Ramadan, beautifully, look at the beautiful manner in which Rasulullah said, فَرَضَ اللَّهُ صِيَامَهُ فَرَضَ اللَّهُ صِيَامَهُ وَسَنَنْتُ لَكُمْ قِيَامَهُ. Allah made farz for you. Allah ordained upon you the fasting of the day of Ramadan, and I, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, made sunnat upon you the standing in Taraweeh Salah. To listen to the Quran, one riwayat it comes, for each rakat of Taraweeh Salah, each sajda of Taraweeh Salah in Ramadan, Allah gives 1,500 hasanat. 1,500 rewards for each sajda. That is one day's Taraweeh Salah, 60,000 rewards. 60,000 hasanat. For each sajda of Taraweeh Salah, Allah gives you one palace in Jannat made out of red ruby. And this palace will have 60,000 doors made out of gold and silver for each sajda of Taraweeh Salah. For each sajda of the month of Ramadan, whether in Taraweeh or out of Taraweeh, each sajda of the month of Ramadan, Allah will give you one tree in Jannat, that if a fast horse rider rides for 500 years, he will not cross the shadow of that tree. And yet first night, masjid is full. Third night, fourth night, fifth night, sixth night, as Ramadan progresses, gradually the masjid gets more and more and more empty. And then once again come back on the 27th night. Look at the loss that the ummah is incurring. If the announcement had to be made, Stratham Masjid tomorrow, Taraweeh Salah, for every person that will attend underneath the musalla, there will be 1,500 pounds. Then father, mother, grandmother, niece, auntie, everybody will be here. The masjid will be too small. Because we understand the value of mal, we don't understand the value of a'mal. Subhanallah, Subhanallah, mithla jabali uhudin dhahaban fil jannah. O kama qala sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. One Subhanallah, if it was told by every time you say Subhanallah, you get 10 pounds. What will happen? He'll be eating, he'll say Subhanallah. Be talking, he'll say Assalamu alaikum, Subhanallah. How you Subhanallah? Whatever basic speech, everything else will be Subhanallah. Why 10 pounds each time? And yet what is the reality? What is the reality? Janabi Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, one Subhanallah is equivalent to the mountain of Uhud in gold in Jannah. 14-kilometer mountain range in gold in Jannah, one Subhanallah. But the value of mal is there, the value of amal is not there. That is why the heart is aspiring towards mal, it is not aspiring towards amal. Every branch of worldly wealth in this verse of the Quran which I mentioned earlier, Allah enumerates it and then Allah places one label. ذَلِكَ مَتَاعُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. What is mata'? Imam Ismail rahimahullah, great scholar. In fact, I'm digressing. There's one incident mentioned about him. Allah had made it such, he wasn't a handsome person. In fact, he was not attractive to look at all. But his naseeb was such that he got married to a very beautiful woman. So one day his wife was preening herself, admiring herself in the mirror, looking at her beauty, natural beauty which Allah had given her. So she turned around and she told him that you and I are both Jannatis. So he says, how come? What makes you arrive at this conclusion? She says, every time I look at you, I make sabr, Allah will give me the Jannat of sabr. Every time you look at me, you make shukr, Allah will give you the Jannat of shukr. Generally, that is the tarteeb. They say the only time a woman will speak good of her husband is before they are married and after he dies. In between is very difficult. It's a different matter that the akhlaq and character is not there amongst us to make them speak good of us. Nevertheless, Imam Ismail rahimahullah was in the taftish, trying to understand the meaning of 3 words in the Quran. One was mata', the other was raqim, and the third was ta'ala. Look at the khidmat of Quran that was made. Nowadays we feel time that is spent in acquiring worldly knowledge is wasted time. The time that is spent in acquiring worldly knowledge, that is valuable time. If the time is spent in deen, then we feel that is wasted time. My son will be backwards, my child will be backwards, society will look down upon him. How is he going to make ends meet? All these questions start arising in the mind. If the child is channeled towards deen. Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu was that personality. He was not an intelligent person. It is said of him that he would work as a shepherd in the early days in Makkah. And the mother of Umar was exasperated with him, because if he took a certain number of camels or a certain number of goats or sheep in the morning, by the evening Umar would definitely lose 1 or 2 animals. She said, what good are you going to be, my son? You can't even look after animals. But when he placed his hand in the hand of Janabi Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he said labbaik to the call of Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah took him to those mantles of honor and dignity and status. Allah opened his mind so that up till today people study with awe the life of Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu and the manner in which he ruled. 2 to 12 years of Khilafat, Islam spread to 2,200,000 square miles. 4,000 Jamia masjids were established. Umar became that personality where on 15 occasions, there's no time to go into the details, 15 occasions he expressed a desire to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam or to some companion, and on the desire of Umar, Quran was revealed. A person who couldn't look after a few animals, when he placed his hand in the hand of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that is the aql and the intelligence which Allah gave him. He became a living embodiment of the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ittaqu firasat al-mu'min, fa innahu yanzuru bi nurillah." Fear the inner wisdom, fear the firasat, fear, call it the sixth sense. Fear the firasat of a mu'min, fa innahu yanzuru bi nurillah, because he looks with the nur of Allah. One incident is mentioned. Qari Tayyib Sahib rahmatullahi alayhi mentions in his kitab, one scholar. He said during the Khilafat of Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, one night, Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu sees a dream. And in his dream he sees it is the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ali is proceeding for Fajr Salah. There's an elderly woman outside the masjid. In her hand she has a bowl of dates. She presents it to Ali, says to him, present this to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, request him to distribute it amongst the companions. He goes to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam after Salah, presents the dates to him. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam takes one date, puts it in the mouth of Ali. Ali experiences such sweetness and ecstasy that he says, "Zidni ya Rasulullah, give me another one." Just then the azan goes. Ali wakes up, realizes he was dreaming. Proceeds to the masjid. To his utter surprise, the same woman with the same tray of dates he finds standing outside the masjid. She says, "Give this to Amirul Mu'mineen Umar, request him to distribute it amongst the companions." After Salah he goes to Umar. Umar places one in his mouth. Ali experiences the same sweetness that he experienced in his dream, and he said, "Zidni ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, O Amir al-Mu'mineen, give me another one." Umar smiles at him and says, "Lo zadak al-Habib lazidtuka." That if my Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam had given you another one, I also would have given you another one. He mentions this incident under the explanation of this hadith. Ittaqu firasat al-mu'min, fa innahu yanduru bi nurillah. Fear the inner wisdom that Allah gives a mu'min, because he looks with the nur of Allah. Engaging ourselves in acquiring the knowledge of deen is not a waste of time. Our understanding or perception of what is aql or intelligence and what is the true reality of aql and intelligence, that is something else. The whole world of those who have not recognized Allah on one side, and one person with iman, with weak iman, this person is like a person with sight. The entire world, whether it's Einstein or Newton or the intelligentsia of our time, if they have not recognized Allah, they are blind. Their aql and intelligence put together is not equal to the intelligence of this one person with weak iman. And the tragedy and the travesty that is facing us today, my respected brothers, is that the people with sight in one eye are asking the blind people to guide them. Teach us what is culture. Teach us what is advancement. Teach us how to conduct ourselves. Teach us what our home should be. Teach us what are family values. Teach us what is akhlaq and character. The person with sight is asking the blind man to guide him. How is he ever going to gain guidance? As if we have no imam, as if we have no hadi, as if we have no rahbar. Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, where the poet says, "Afalat shumusul awwalina wa shamsuna abadan ala ufuqil ula la taghrubu." The suns, the sources of light and guidance of the nations of the past have set, but our sun, our source of light and guidance, Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Qiyamah will come, but his light will not set. Qiyamah will come, but his light will not set. Such a Nabi this ummah was given, and yet still we are looking elsewhere. The ummah of the Quran, the ummah of Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam today is measuring its achievement in other avenues. What greater injustice, what greater oppression can there be?